Hi, my name is Tom McMullen, and I am a professional astrologer. I have been a professional astrologer for over 30 years. And so that'll tell you two things about me. One, I'm old, and two, I know a lot about the subject. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand what astrology is, but it's many things. But I'm going to explain in certain ways how I view it. The first thing is I don't look at it as a science. I don't believe it is a science. I believe it's a language. Astrology is a language of many things that come together in different categories of knowledge of things you might want to know. It's patterns of energy from symbols interacting with other symbols. So the planets, the signs, the houses they're in, it's all sort of this pattern that comes together that defines an individual if you're doing a personal chart for somebody. And so that's something like I look at as like when you're sitting down putting a piece of puzzles together. And putting a lot of pieces of puzzles together is very time consuming and anxious because you're trying to figure out where they all go to make the picture it's trying to become. That's how I look at a chart. But there's a difference between just putting a piece of puzzle together and analyzing it and just randomly putting together, which is very more left brain. Astrology is a language that's more about intuition and feeling and vision. And so when I start putting a chart together, which takes me several hours, it's like if I had the box of the picture of the puzzle next to me, it starts showing me where the pieces go. So I'll equate it to reading a novel. You know, when you read a novel and you start the book, you start getting into this character. You get into what she's doing, essentially what she looks like, where her situation is. And you can sort of, at the end of the story, kind of get a whole sense of this character, what you know about her and what she's gone through. That's what takes me around 2 hours to study a chart when I go to do a reading, is to tell that person the story they gave me. So in this essence, when I do a chart, it is something that is not what people expect, because I'm not going to talk about your personality. It will be a part of it, but there are actually two sides to our story in what we come in with. We have a personality and a soul. The personality is what all the other astrologers talk about. You've got, Leo sun sign, you've got Mars and Aries, you've got all these little symbols that come together, and different planets and signs and interactions. They're all parts of the personality, but when you put it together, it starts to tell a story, and the story is a journey of your soul, not your personality. Your personality is your expression that you present to us in the world, but your internal world is what I really focus on. So I call it karmic astrology. I call it karmic because I do not believe we just come into one life and die and that's it. I believe we're on a journey of lifetimes that we add on as we go. And so when someone comes to me in a reading, I'm going to get their karma or their past first. It's going to tell me what they brought in from their past that they're going to recreate. Because when we come into a new life, we come in with a story of wounds and struggles of the past that we didn't complete. And so we have to go through those issues again because we bring them with us. And as I go through the chart, I help you understand why your childhood looks the way it does, why you picked the parents you did, and the journey that brings in the karma of the past. Because what happens is we're going to repeat it. We repeat it when we become adults, and it redefines again what our relationship profile is and the work that we choose to do with the type of story that we come in with. And so this is called karmic soul astrology. So I always believe you can't tell someone's future because you're in charge of your own future. You're in charge of your own destiny. But I can tell you your story, and I can also tell you you're not going to know what your future is unless you know what your past was. So I can give you the past, a consciousness to the unconscious. And therefore, I say I validate you in the story. And then I can give you permission to know where the wounds are that you're trying to heal them, and how you might want to take a risk and move out of the wounds and into something new, because that's what we're all really trying to do. So this is the style of astrology that I do and have been doing for a very long time. It's different than most people expect, but it is always very fulfilling because when my clients say, oh my God, this is 20 years of therapy in an hour, it really is. So it's very thorough, and it's something I enjoy doing because it's a gift I have because I can go to this extent of studying a chart so deeply and becoming a person in it. So like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I have not a lot of public identity out in the social media world, which I'm being criticized a lot for. I have a website, which is tommcmullen.com, and my email is tom@tommcmullen.com. But I am also on a podcast as a special guest and friend of the famous psychic medium Alison Dubois. And so I've been a part of her podcast in her life called The Dead Life for about 5 or 6 years now. I work all the time. I'm usually booked in advance. But this is me trying to start something new this year, because this is a 1 year in numerology and everything's in Aries going into this year. So everything is fire and air, and I am a fire and air energy myself. So I've decided to take a risk and put myself out there into social media. And that's why I'm doing this video right now. So I will be also reigniting my Instagram eventually, because I started it and never kept through, but I will try to do that. And so that's what I'm doing today.